Hello, everybody. I'm Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another roundtable for Lifeless. Hello, Christopher. I see Brian is here as well.
Hey there.
Howdy, howdy. So, it looks like my camera froze. Oh my, technical difficulties. There we go. Today's topic is about questing and the quest system. And for those of you who don't know, this is the first time tuning in, seeing one of these for Lifeless. Lifeless is a kind of a zombie apocalypse, survival, MMO, sandbox, kill your neighbor type of game. Is that right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, so anyway, and this is Christopher here with us. Christopher, what is your title with the company?
Well, officially I'm the CEO. But what I do is mostly CTO work. I do programming and the most technical parts and so on. But if officially, technically, I'm the CEO.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, now something a little bit different about Lifeless in the fact of questing and everything. And I don't know of any of the other, survival games that really are anything more than, shoot everybody, gather as much resources as possible, fortify yourself, develop your stronghold, go out and kill other people, pick up their loot. And and so, with actually adding quests into the game, what is it? What does that exactly mean for the game?
Well, I mean, we focus quite a bit on the quests and the interactive NPCs and things of that sort. So what it really does is actually gives it so much more life than you would really think. When you have these walking NPCs, the guards walking around in the safe zone, or being spawned somewhere in the world, or similar things, it adds a lot of depth to the game, and you kind of want to do different things than what you would maybe want to do in one of the other games. So it gives you different feelings and different motives of what you want to do in the game.
So, let's see here. Am I just going to have to go knock so many zombie heads off and bring them back, for a quest like that, or is the system deeper than that?
It's deeper than that. We have different tasks, and we have, for example, one which is just what you said. There's a guard standing in the safe zone who he wants you to go and help him clear the perimeter. That's one quest we have. But we also have a drunk who needs you to find his alcohol, or we have one where you need to help one NPC find his lost brother, and you don't really know what's happened to him. You have to find his fate. We have different outcomes for that as well. And there's many different types of quests, and we hope to make them trigger different events depending on how you finish them. You're also able to not finish a whole quest. You can finish only half of it, or even double it. If you do it extra well, you get double the rewards. You get different rewards depending on how much of the quest you finish. So if you get a bunch of quests but you forget to finish one fully, you only finish a half, you can still hand it in for half the reward.
So people are mentioning your cam.
Yes.
It has to do with I think a high latency or low bandwidth connection.
Very possible.
Yeah. So now I'm not much of a quest person myself, but I do enjoy doing doing something and having experienced a story while doing it. And so I do look forward to stuff like that. Now, is there any ability for, are the quests all, like already built and they're just in the system, or is it something where other people, like players, could build quests, or I don't know.
Not really. We don't let people build quests in that way. However, we do try to make it as dynamic as possible. We do try to. Our plan is to involve the world event system when that's finished as well to spawn, one house, maybe a building in the city. Sometimes there might be survivors there that are NPCs that you might need to help out, and sometimes they might not be there, and there might be NPCs that spawn in the middle of the woods that need help, that only spawn, sometimes, or completely random, and so on. So really, people, like the players, won't be able to make quests themselves, but there'll always be different scenarios. There's so many different possibilities, really. And also, we do take, if someone writes a really good quest or a really good text or anything like that, with their permission, we would, gladly use it, to add more content to the game. So with their permission, we would definitely do that. If someone is really good at writing something, we don't see any reason not to, get help with it.
How about, another thing that goes along with questing might be role playing.
Yeah.
And so what kind of tools with all of this do we have to allow us to really take a role in the game? Have you thought about that, or what? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, except that I just thought to myself, if I could do my quests in character or kill other players in character, or whatever, that could make it more fun.
Yeah, and really get involved with the story. We haven't really worked that much with it. It's I guess, a pretty diffuse topic, pretty hard topic to conquer, I guess. So we haven't really worked with it that way. But if it's something that, people really want, and, then we'll definitely, try to approach it more. And also, we always work on trying to make the server and the systems really work with you on a personal level more. So try to really, what I'm trying to say is try to make it as close to what you would experience in a single player game in terms of lore as possible, but with also get the, impact of other players. So with a quest that might trigger a world event, you might not be able to do it yourself. You might need help of others, and so on. And in that situation, you do make an impact on the game by finishing a quest or something like that, or starting a quest that leads to something that happens on the server for everyone.
How about realm affecting quests? I mean, you say it has an impact, but is there plans for anything that would require 10 people to work together on a server to complete a quest, and if that happened, the portal of doom opened up and all the zombies poured out. I don't know.
Well,
something like that.
Maybe not the portal of doom. However, we do have another thing, which is this is one of the plans that we have, one of the quests we're implementing is there's this guy next to a radio tower, and this radio tower is not too far from an airport. They can see in one of the videos that we've made. And this guy is looking for gasoline to power his generator, and our plan is that you're going to be able to go to different parts and different quests and maybe give this guy, for example, some gasoline. Maybe he can turn on his radio, which will maybe call in some kind of airdrop or so on. And that will, it's not going to drop right in front of you. It's going to drop maybe in the middle of the map. And that's going to have everyone go completely nuts to try to get that stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, or, for example, we have some ideas. Maybe you can turn on the lights on the airport to make it completely light up if you get gasoline into the generator, and similar things that will have an impact on the map on the server, and which will involve a lot of people into it.
That sounds like fun. I think things that can, especially things like where at nighttime, we have a deficiency in our vision and everything, and so maybe working together we could improve, by turning on the lights in town or something like that. And it would be a quest that people would probably do, nightly or whatever, every time it started getting dark, that people might work together just so that they could see a little bit better. Yeah, absolutely. And so it could be a quest that happens every night cycle. Or you come in and it's completely dark and you wonder whether or not you're going to get ganked, or maybe there's
Yeah.
nobody there.
Yeah, exactly. We really want to encourage that kind of stuff, and there's always this fear of getting, like you say, ganked, and that's
Hmm.
why we have PvE service as well. I mean, if you're not into the whole thing that you might get killed doing a quest or something, that's the PvE service for you. However, if you really like the excitement of going into the town and trying to turn on the lights to maybe even expose a camper or something sitting in a corner, then the PvP servers are perfect for you. So I think
Hmm.
there's always a balance when it comes to that part as well of the game. That PvP and PvE, it should really work for both, in our
Hmm.
opinion.
Hmm. Will there be any differences on PvE versus PvP servers on the quests?
No, they're gonna run the same things, unless we see that there's something that is really going wrong. But
Like,
from what we can tell, there shouldn't
we
be.
should put in a quest to like go get so many player scalps or something like that.
Yeah, I think that would be a problem in the PvE server. I can see that being a
Right, right,
problem.
yeah. So, Brian, are you into quests? What's important to you with quests?
Quests. I never do quests normally. Normally, I'm the person who's grinding to
Hmm.
gain the XP over. Yeah, I mean, for example, World of Warcraft was doing that as well within the new add-on. You got XP for collecting stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
if you did archaeology, you gained EXP by recovering artifacts and stuff like that. So this is the
Hmm.
way I like it. I mean, grinding and quests are boring somehow because you're doing in all the games almost the same. Collect that stuff from this guy, collect 10 ears from this guy and stuff like that. Then you slay 50 of that mobs to get 10
Yeah.
ears, even if everybody does have ears. So yeah, I'm more for the collecting stuff. Collect
Right.
So,
stuff. Get the
Brian,
XP.
if you were to put together a quest, if you were to do a quest, what kind of quest would attract you?
Huh.
It's an interesting
So
question.
Because
yeah,
if you don't like quests, you should be able to come up with a doozy of something that would be really fun.
hmm. I mean, quests are okay if there is a storyline behind it, or if you have something to do that is giving you a small story. For example, rescue my little sister, and you need that stuff for that to rescue her out of the building. She might be in the cellar locked or something like that, and you need this and this. You need to collect that and that stuff here at this location. Such things are interesting. So it's not just go there, slay this mob, go there, slay this mob. So you need
Yeah.
to collect stuff before you can save some special NPC that is somewhere stuck in an environment.
Yeah, and that's we are working quite a bit on trying to make, we have the generic quests as well. I'm not gonna lie, but we do have more interesting ones as well, like this one you mentioned. There is, like I said, there is one quest NPC who there's this guy who is looking for his brother, but he's not really equipped to go out and look in the wild. And so basically, what you're supposed to do is you're gonna try to find out the fate of his brother, and I'm not going to spoil too much, but there's more than one outcome to it. He might not be alive, he might be alive, and depending on what happens, you have to, either escort him or, there's different outcomes to it. So it's not going to be the same thing all the time, and it's going to be quite ungeneric.
Okay.
Well, one thing I'd like to mention really quick that
Hmm.
Brian actually mentioned, and that is the thing where not only quests and grinding give you experience, and that's something that we have actually implemented. You do get experience from gathering and crafting and a lot of different things that you do in the game. Um, you do get experience for. So you don't only level by killing zombies and doing quests. You level by doing a lot of the things that you do in the game. They just give you a small bonus of experience, but they all really stack up quickly. So it might seem insignificant to get 5 experience from cutting down a tree, but it actually does stack up quite quickly.
Yeah, especially if this is then, for example, if you're not you chop down the tree, then you have the wood, the raw material. Then you need to make wooden planks to fortify your fortress or something like that, or the stronghold
Mhm.
for your, let's say you have kind of factions there, yeah, bandits and stuff like that. That would be, and are there factions or something like that? So groups like bandits and stuff like that.
If we have factions,
Yes.
we
Yes.
currently don't. We currently don't have factions, but that's something that we have considered quite a bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does make it into the game where you actually have to do different quests for different factions, and that will actually determine where you'll be welcome in the future. So you might get even attacked by one faction if you're way too mean to them, so to say, or you might not be able to trade with them or so on.
Yeah, because that would be a very interesting feature if you had, for example, 2 or 3 factions and they are at war with each other, and you need to collect the stuff to increase the defense of your, or to improve the defense lines of your own stronghold or so. And
Yeah.
let's say there's one time zone at one day in a week where this zone can be attacked, and during that attack, yeah, you need to defend your outpost, and if it is not fortified well enough, the enemy will overtake it. So yeah, overrun it, and it's then the opponents.
Yeah, exactly.
Outpost.
Yeah, no, I mean, we agree with that. That's something that we have discussed before internally, and it's not something that's in right now, but it's something that we really have thought about, and it does sound quite fun to us as well. So we are big fans of that kind of interactive things.
I can totally see too something for like maintaining control, and you know it's kind of a simple quest, but you know we talked about turning on the lights or whatever, you know, and maybe the quest may be as simple as going around and flipping 5 switches, you know, around the
Yeah.
town, and then getting gas for a generator and turning it on. But then at the same time, someone who's opposing could turn around and maybe turn them off and take advantage of your surprise. And you know, so you end up
Yeah.
fighting over control of the lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Supremacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, they are talking a lot in chat about factions. I'm seeing. And
One question, short question, just a short question about the lights thing. I mean, if you turn on the light in a city, does that affect the zombie movement speed and power during day and night? I mean, I know different games where it's like that. During the daytimes, they are totally weak. They are just really walking slowly towards you. And during the nighttime, if there's not light, they get really strong. So they're running after you, chasing you down till you're dead.
Yeah. Well, currently you know, it doesn't really make any difference at the moment, but you know, we're still in alpha, so a lot of these things are, you know, even planned to be changed, and it's all about, you know, balancing and making all these systems work perfectly and flawlessly together.
well, you know, I'm not much for quests, but I think that I certainly want to give it a shot. You know, if it's fun, great.
Yeah.
If not, I'll just shoot all the players trying to do the quests.
And they'll switch to a PvE server.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Are you all alone?
I probably will stick with just PvP servers.
I see you sitting on the hill. Oh, there's a guy with a quest item. Dang.
Oh yeah,
Off he
yeah.
goes.
You know, and I can totally see too. You know, something that has to be. You know, that the quest is, the quest maybe can't even be kicked off until you have some sort of item that's needed to complete the quest, and then you have to survive to the end of it to use that. But that, you know, so and so won't even give you the quest unless you have that item in your inventory. And it could be an item that maybe, you know, is very hard to make. And then, you know, the fact that you got to keep it on you. Can you imagine having something that's valuable, like completing that quest and that item is required, and completing the quest, you know, pays off, however, experience or whatever. But the kind of the people who would hide out near the NPC that gives the quest and just think about attacking anybody who goes up and talks to that NPC. And so other players would have to work together to defend that player while they go and get the quest. Stuff like that. And then my teammate shoots me when I'm getting the quest. I'm sure that'll happen. It's never happened before.
Yeah, but I would not recommend that the people are... I mean, if they're really camping around the NPC where you turn in the quest, that's a bit, boring, to be honest. I mean,
well, yes and no. You know, I think that some stuff should be very hard to obtain.
Yeah, if it is a hard quest, then it's okay. That's a quest that takes really a long time, but to get the stuff, not that this is a quest you get where you get a lot of money and a lot of items, for example. So you make the quest, you are completing it, and then some asshole is shooting you in the head, and then all the quest items are dropping on the ground. And then he's picking up, turning in the quest. Then 2 minutes later, another guy is coming with the same stuff, shooting down, taking the stuff.
But just think of having that badge of having completed that quest, and how difficult it is that you either got very lucky or you got very coordinated.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, if there is somebody really sitting there the whole day and killing people all the day, just sitting there in his stupid butt
don't you think other people will rally around and go to take out that person so that they can initiate the quest? It becomes part of the quest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right.
And it's a part that's not scripted. That's not written by the devs or anything, which makes it much more challenging. And I can see myself, if it's going to take me 50, 60 attempts to do this, that I can totally see getting coordinated and having friends play together. Or I can see going on to the server at low population times in real world and trying to complete it then.
Yeah. I mean, one thing also that worth mentioning is that a lot of the time the NPCs aren't going to be static. We have walking NPCs, and it is possible that the NPC that you got the quest from has walked away. And you have to find them again. So just camping the NPC might not always be the case. And you also have to think about the fact that you could have a lot of the NPCs just randomly spawning by world events. So, a person couldn't just sit there for the whole day camping him because he's going to go away eventually. And, so that's just one thing that is worth, remembering. That does kind of combat the idea of people just constantly camping a quest NPC. So that's, and of course there are static NPCs, but those are usually in safe zones, which you won't be able to get killed in there anyway. So just make it in there, and you're safe until someone shoots you when you walk out. But that's a different thing. Yeah.
Brian and I know about that. We have never had to escape the safe zone before in any game.
Yeah. Luckily, we thought of that, and the safe zone is not in the corner of the map. It's actually in a place where you can actually walk out any direction, and and every direction is kind of safe, so to say. So you're kind of protected wherever you go. So unless there's a horde of people always sitting and camping everything all the time, you should be fine.
So somebody in chat mentions having to Google quests. How do you feel about somebody putting together a quest database or whatever, or having that kind of information, the how-to?
Well, I mean, really, it's not something we can combat, and I think that if someone does take time to put it together and, spoil it for someone, and if someone really wants to Google it, then they can. We don't aim at making the quests hard to figure out. It's not a math test. It's a quest. You're supposed to know what you're supposed to do. It's the challenge of doing it, rather than the challenge of understanding the quest.
What about something like leaderboards in the games? What if some of the quests actually listed like how fast it was completed, or how much of something got done, or a success percentage or something like that, and where people might end up doing the same quest over and over and over again, and there may not be any really reward other than getting a spot on the leaderboard,
being the number one guy to finish that quest. Yeah, we can have like a lore master that'll be like the number one is the lore master or something.
Ooh, a title.
Yeah,
so I could be cool. Lore Master Marky Dragon in the game.
Ooh.
I don't know how I think about leaderboards and something like that. I mean, until I know that the game is really hacker safe, leaderboard is really interesting, and leaderboard and stuff like that. But if you have hackers in the game, you will have them directly on the leaderboards, and then it makes no sense.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I was playing Test Drive Unlimited in the past, and you had really a good score of on a long journey around Hawaii on this race, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty good time, 42 minutes. And I was looking on this leaderboard, and I was like, what? Seriously? 20 minutes for over 250 kilometers? Never ever. So, yeah, it's insane. It's destroying the fun of the game and the leaderboard. Somehow.
Yeah. He just ate a whole bunch of granola bars. He got that stamina the whole way. Yeah, energy drinks and granola bars.
Had a heart attack at the end.
Right.
But at least he's number one. So yeah, no, I mean that it does make sense to be careful with that. That maybe a leaderboard would be a motivation for hacking, but then we have very high trust in the company that we outsourced the anti-hack shield to, and we.
Did I hear the name already of the product that you have?
If you heard the name of it?
Yeah, a few seconds before you named the product, and if I hear the right name, I'm not impressed about that, to be honest.
Well, it depends. Probably you don't know them. They keep a lot under the radar, and they protect tournaments such as League of Legends and other big names. Okay. So they keep under the radar for the sole purpose of not being. They don't really care about putting a big brand name out there. They actually asked us not to mention them anywhere because that just brings more attention to them.
Okay, so there. So okay, let me ask another question here. How hard is it once a quest is dreamed up? How hard is it to implement that in the game?
In terms of from idea to actual playable quest?
Yeah, like let's say it's written out, and then once you've got kind of a written script, I imagine it's kind of a script of some sort, much like you would do for a scene of a movie or something like that. And so once you have that script, what kind of work does it take to actually put it into the game?
Right. So it depends on. We have some pretty good voice actors, and whenever we kind of do it simultaneously. So when we have a quest idea for quest, what we do is we take, like I said, the script, so to say, and we send it off to the voice actors. And while they're doing their work, we put it in motion. And once we have the actual voice files, it takes us maybe 20 minutes to implement it at most. We assign it to an NPC. That's just one line and a config file, and then it's really a maximum of 20 minutes actually implemented. So, yeah.
So now you said that if the players or something had a good idea for a quest, that you guys would be open to putting some of those in.
Definitely.
And what? So let me just ask you guys for something. Can you guys, in your forums or something like that, make a post about, a kind of a template of how to write something like that up and then take submissions?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah, and that's one thing that we would like people to do is quests. But there's also another system that we've built. It's not right now because we're still working on it, and it's going to take a bit of manpower to keep going. But the system is that you can actually submit images and text to us, and they will be put into the game. So in image frames in the game, we can actually put any image of a person or a family, and if you submit an image,
Is this
that
like
can actually appear.
is this like the God, what was that? Married with Children, that old show, the Bundys,
Yeah.
and they had their family pictures on the walls and stuff, looking really really funny, and everything. Are you actually saying that I can like get a picture of my family or something like that? It could be hanging over the mantle in a house or something like that.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, most likely,
fun.
you go there twice, it's probably not going to be the same picture. Unless if you log out and then back in, it could switch. But that's definitely a possibility. Also, notes and texts. We have people actually written up poems about the game, and we have people written out short stories. And the idea here is that if you write up a story that's maybe 15 pages long, that's a little bit too much for a little note. So that will be into pages, and then you'll be able to go around and collect pages and build up the whole story for yourself. And
It's
we
another
haven't
quest.
written that. It is kind of like a quest.
It is a quest because you got to go find all the pieces.
Exactly, and maybe that person who's written up the story, in every page he hides a clue to maybe some type of treasure. I don't know, and if you contact him with the right word or something, he'll give you something. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with just being able to leave things behind like that, and so we want people to be able to submit a lot of things in that way. So that and it will actually make it into the game, and that's a very, I think you can do a lot with it. It's not only picture frames; it's also posters and bigger things as well that can actually make it in.
Okay, now so let me take this another step further here, and I wore my Ultima Online hat. This is a very rare old hat. And it was some of the first questing that happened, live online where other people could affect it and everything. And they had a program to where they had people who were seers in the game who would actually help control events. They also had troubadours, I believe they were called, and and so these people would be like live role playing a quest or an event, and leading people through it. And can you envision actually doing something like that, whether it's controlled by a staff member or whether a trusted player or something like that? Give them a couple extra abilities that to be used for good quests, good fun.
Yeah, definitely. We have already had that idea with staff members, and it's something that, if it goes well and everything works fine and people really enjoy it, we don't see a reason not to expand on it and let more trusted members have very limited abilities to maybe see some type of information or within a very small time frame do something specific that will, obviously nothing that could be, misused.
Balance of power changing, right?
Yeah, but only small things that could help them and aid them in actually running an event or a quest on a specific server or so. Which would be very fun.
I think that would be fun. One of the things that they did in that is that you had an alternate character. Nobody knew who your other character was. You had an alternate character that you logged into for doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you could identify them. They always had like the blue and green robes.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see here. We've had Romuald join us here on the Hangout as well. Romuald, did you have any questions? Well, just speak up if you do. And so I like where you're going with this, about how players can submit stuff, and and everything. I guess though that you have to be a little bit careful that people are not submitting things that are copyrighted material. If they make it into the game and people are buying the game, you've got an issue.
Yeah, no, we're going to be very careful with that, and it has to be very clear that it is your stuff that you have, and also if images, people can, submit inappropriate images. That's why the system isn't in right now, because it actually takes a little bit of manpower to, review things and keep an eye on it.
Yeah. So, and I do like the idea of being able to submit some quests. I think that some brainstorming sessions could happen, and maybe some interesting type of quests could come out of it. Stuff that may be easy and stuff that may be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I fall on more on the insane side, but I know that easier stuff is needed as well.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have everything for everyone, right?
What's that?
You gotta have something for everyone, right?
Well, you'll never please everybody. Shoot for 80%.
No.
if you're hitting 80%, you're doing well.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Any other thoughts on quests and stuff? Before maybe we answer a couple of questions that I've seen.
Nothing that I can think. I'll say something if I come up with something.
Okay. So let's continue on off of the quest portion now. And in your forums, Batswan had posted some stuff. Some of these we'd actually been over before, but maybe if people are asking them over and over again, that maybe it's a good thing to cover them. And so max players on the server at launch is going to be, you think?
Between 25 and 50 at launch, and the reason for that is we can handle more, but we just want to make sure that everything's perfectly stable first, and we also want to we'll find a good balance of what's too much for the map. At what point do you start running into people too often?
Right. So, and what is the theoretical limit on how many people you can have in a server at once? Like if sky's the limit and everything works well, how many people? No limit?
Yeah, I don't actually know what the limit is. That's depending on what we can pay for the processing power, really. Right. I would say it's scalable. It's quite scalable. It's hundreds. I mean, 150, 200.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Makes sense.
We'll have to try that some night. We'll have to have an event some night where we try and get everybody on one server and we unlock that and we see what happens. Yeah. It may just be a server crash. We did that in EVE Online. We did a drunken roam and we had, 200 or so ships. 327 ships. And there was one sector that we warped into where it immediately crashed whenever we hit it.
Yeah.
And the big ships didn't know what the hell to do with all of these, fruit flies or gnats that picking at it that killed them. Let's see here. Will there be hired servers? Meaning, if I want a private server, can I purchase or rent one?
Yeah, you will be able to, and it's you're gonna pay the same price that we pay for it. So it's going to be a fair price. Whatever we pay for, you pay for it. Is the idea.
I think that's insane, but I can give you thoughts on that later. Because there is cost to support it. As long as what you pay for it includes your costs to support it, then fine.
Yeah, it's our cost.
Yeah,
so whatever we have to pay for.
So, and will there be choices on the servers, like basic stuff like PvP or PvE?
Yes, there will be.
Okay. Let's see here. Will people be able to host their own servers?
No. The reason for that is because these servers actually have to connect to our network. There's too much of a risk that someone would do something malicious with the actual connection and the actual, server files. Mm-hmm. And we just see that we want people to have complete trust that what happens in the game is going to stay and there's nothing malicious So that's the reason we host everything, and that's the reason for private servers. If you really want to have one where only you and your friends can play, then you can pay us, and we will host it for you.
Okay. Let's see here. Voice communication in the game?
Voice over IP, yeah, that's going to be available.
Okay.
Maybe not straight off at start, but it is easy enough to implement. It's just something that we want to balance properly first.
Okay. And I assume it'll be directional and volume level depending on distance type of stuff at least.
Yeah, definitely. Depending on where you are, which direction you're looking, and so on, you'll have different levels and different volumes and so
on. Groups.
Groups are already available.
Perfect. Is there a size to a group?
No, nothing specific right now. So,
okay.
Go nuts.
Do you see a marker of your group members on the minimap, or if you are running around in the world, you see a small triangle above somewhere far away from you, and you know, there's one of my teammates?
Yeah, you do, but it's distance-based, so it fades in, so you can't see them on the other side of the map, but you can see them at a fair distance.
Okay, and can you see them on the map?
No, you cannot see them on the map.
As well, okay, so if he's on the other side of the map, he says, okay, I'm somewhere in the southeast of the map, and you're in the northwest somewhere.
Yeah, and you can say which town you're in, because you're going to be able to, once you learn the map a little bit, it's quite easy to navigate, say, okay, I'm in Carson, or I'm in, whatever city I'm in at the moment. It should be pretty simple to navigate and find your friends.
Okay.
What will be the benefits of a safe zone, other than the obvious, you're typically not going to die in a safe zone?
Right. So in the safe zone, obviously you have the safety, but you can't stand there forever because you will starve to death. But there's many benefits to it. There's quest people there. We're gonna kind of have it as a social hub, so to say. We want people to go there to trade, access some systems, like if we had some kind of black market or auction house, so to say, that's going to be in the safe zone. Most safe zones are going to be the place you go to do a lot of the things you want to do in peace, like maybe trade, sell, maybe to talk to some NPCs.
Let's see here. Okay, and will safe zones like regenerate health, or does your health go back up by?
No, you got to eat.
You got to go find it. Okay. Now I see that Ink in chat has posted about something. He likes to collect dead bodies, and he does that in EVE Online. And so if you kill another player, is there any sort of trophy that you can take from that you might be able to go hang on your wall, or?
Like a head or a scalp?
I don't know.
Not really. Not at the moment. If that's something that people really like, and if it's something that people are interested in, then maybe that's something that could be implemented. But right now, no, you're not able to scalp your enemies.
That's too bad. Yes.
So at the end, if you revive the part that's missing. So there's a question from a user here on the Hangout as well about Steam Greenlight.
Right. So we have not applied the Steam Greenlight yet, and the reason for it is because we want to make sure that the game is at a state where we have enough support to actually pull off a proper Steam Greenlight. And we're getting to that point right now, and so it's not yet been decided at one point we would go on Steam Greenlight, but we are gonna do that at some point when we feel like we have the support.
Okay. I was looking for images from Ronald McDonald in Ultima Online, and he was the master at displaying dead bodies. I seriously, I want to be able to have a trophy room or something like that. I think I think it would be absolutely gruesome, but at the same time, it's funny.
Yeah, I don't want to go to McDonald's anymore after hearing that.
Well, it wasn't Ronald McDonald himself, but
Yeah.
Was that the thief that you were talking about in earlier videos, Marcus?
Yeah. He was one of the most notorious player killers in Ultima Online, and he in fact was very very witty, very brilliant, and he would do things like steal from you while he was talking to you, and then you wouldn't even notice that he had stolen your stuff. And while he's being all friendly and stuff, and you're like, cool, I just talked to the biggest player killer in the game. So,
Yeah.
but he would do a daily display of dead bodies out in his yard, and he would take a screenshot and he would post that every day, and he kept doing that every day until he died, which actually he never did die. So he finally just got bored after I don't know how many thousands of players he killed, but it was pretty interesting. So
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
So, okay, let me just look through chat a little bit more here. How about food? You say food. Will there be any health benefits to food other than? I mean, is it going to raise your health? Will it heal you at all? Can you die of starvation?
Yeah, you can die from starvation. So basically what happens is when you when you get to 0 in health and, in food and water, you start dying.
Mm-hmm.
So you start losing health. And the thing is, you can, foods can give you either both water and food, depending on what kind of food. If it's something canned, which actually has water in it, it could actually give you a little bit of both. Or it could just give one or the other. Water will not give you food, for example. And some foods do give you health as well, like a small health bonus to it because you feel better. Maybe it's a hot food or something that will actually give you a bit of a health as well. So they can give any of the three.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just seeing if there's anything else in chat here. Okay. Well, I think that's somebody wants horses.
Horses. Yeah.
Mounts in the game. That could be interesting.
Effects he wants also as well.
So, that could be. I suppose that could be fun. Okay. Is that it? Have we got any more questions? Got any more thoughts here?
Let's see in the chat if there's anyone that wants. Someone wants dog tags. I guess that's kind of like the idea of like the ears that you said.
Somebody else mentioned being able to hang up body parts and everything, and I think it would be absolutely cool. I mean, this sounds so morbid, but it would be absolutely cool to be able to, if you have a knife, to chop up the body, and take like an arm or something like that, and hang it from the roof of the gas station, or something like that. Kind of like when you walk up, you go, crap. I know that there's been a lot of death that's happened here. So do I want to risk going in there? And maybe those would just stay up for, I don't know, 24 hours or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have arms hanging all over the place, man.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, and then I would, as I suggested already, then the part is missing on your respawn. So if you are respawning and
oh my god.
Arm, you have no left arm.
So one-armed, one-legged players. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
No, I think or smearing blood on the wall or whatnot, and paint the walls red, crap like that.
Yeah.
So it all sounds very morbid, but at the same time, it's another thing that people can do, having a good time, and can be used as a warning or a badge of, having gotten stuff done or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, we do want to work quite a bit with rewarding players. That we have an achievement system, which people crazily enough have killed like 1,000 zombies in a really short time just to get that achievement. And it's we do have achievements, and that just to give people a sense of achievement of when they do something great that they can actually show it off. And different badges, maybe next to the names or similar things, are definitely things that we want to implement just to make people feel like they can actually show off that, hey, look, I finished this quest, which only 15 people have ever finished because it's so crazy. So you get a little bit more than just the reward, because the reward can be lost if you die. So a bit of more like permanent mark that, hey, check it out, I'm one of the 15 people that finished this, or similar things.
This insane quest.
Yeah, the insane quest.
Okay, well, I think that's it. So there will not be a hangout next week. There won't be a roundtable next week. I won't be available for it, but the following Thursday, I'm planning on it, which I think is the 8th of May. And
think so.
And we should be able to announce a release date at that time.
Yes,
so
it might even be earlier than so.
So anyway, thank you everybody for coming, asking questions. And if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to post some questions in the comments. And that's it. Till then, dream of all the ways you're going to behead bodies and display them. I know. Morbid thought. Okay. Take care, everybody. Be safe.